Can you guys hear me now? Can you guys hear me now? Bing bong! Welcome back to the stream, baby. Let's go. We should be good now, right? We should be good now. Sorry. You can hear me now, right? You can hear me now? We're good. Okay, cool. Bing bong! Live from New York, baby. Welcome back to my crypto journey live stream, guys. I know we didn't have a stream yesterday. I was traveling. I'm here in New York. We may have a stream Monday, but it depends on whether or not I can get late checkout, which I think I can. But late checkout's not really late checkout. It's like an hour more. But welcome back to the stream, guys. And if you were following some of the, the technical analysis we were doing on the stream, which I still think is astrology for men, you're winning right now because we're predicting a lot of things that are going on in the market. So welcome back to the stream. Do me a favor, guys. Like the stream and repost the stream if you're watching over on X. And if you're watching over on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's go. Good morning, guys. We got the chat chatty today. It's good to see you guys in the chat. YouTube popping right off the rip. We love that. Welcome back, guys. It's so good to see you guys in the chat. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday, right? It's Friday already. Javi, #1 in the chat already. Good morning. Good morning. Who else do we have in the stream? We have Armand. Armand, good morning. How are we doing? Armand. Alexandra, baby, good morning. Alexandra, thank you so much for sharing the stream and always popping in. I know you're in a million streams, so I appreciate you. Armand, again, good morning. Felix. So this has to be the beginning of the biggest bear market ever. No, September is a historically bad month for crypto. We'll get into that here in a second. But while I'm yapping, we can look at the crypto bubbles. And as you can see on the day, not everything's down. Surprisingly, Pump Fund is running, but a lot of our favorite top cryptos are down. Bitcoin, Ethereum, top altcoins. Most of the top meme coins are down right now. PEPE, SPX, those sorts of things. You know what I mean? But I think, especially for Bitcoin, this month is going to get more bearish. I think it is. We have some interest rates updates. We have some, pieces of news here and there that we'll go over. But we'll mostly just check out the charts today. But yeah, it's not looking that good, guys. But that's fine because these times, create an opportunity for you to buy your favorite cryptos at a discount. Jayhawk, what's up? Bing bong, baby, live from New York. Fuck that. My phone is tripping. There we go. Dr. MW, my bad. I don't know what's going on with my phone and stuff like that, but whatever. Should be good now. Dr. MW, Biggie, Asa Bass, Cohen, Doc. How we doing, guys? Welcome. Dude, we got the fucking chat. We got the whole squad in here today. Sam, how we doing? GS, good morning. Brandon. SP, discuss Binance and Wintermute flushing longs and okay, so SP, yes. So I want to say something. These exchanges, and look, I've worked with a lot of Memecoin projects, and we see it happen like on a smaller scale. Keep in mind, these exchanges are about making money. They'll list things just to short it and wreck a lot of people. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of manipulation going on by these centralized exchanges, and I think they're getting more bold now that Trump is president. Okay, so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Okay, so it's a big deal. It's a big deal out there. Just watch your back. These exchanges don't all have your best interest. Everybody's kind of in it for themselves. But yes, 1,000%. So Binance and Wintermute flushing longs and shorts affecting the rest of the market. That's how it is. It's manipulation at its finest. And you know what they're trying to do? They're trying to the big whales are trying to shake out the weak hands because they understand the psychology of the market. I mean, it's a cliche because it's true. When people get fearful, they dip out. They can't hold through an extended amount of time. And if the last 4 years have taught you anything, guys, it's that you have to hold. Like you have to be able to buy whenever when others are fearful. When Solana hit $8, when Bitcoin hit 16K, like Bitcoin, and when Ethereum hit like $800, like they're going to shake you out. They're going to try to shake you out, but you have to think of the big picture. We're still following everything in the big picture. And let me go to Bitcoin, and I'll show you guys exactly what I mean, to just show you what's going on here, right? All right, so let me make sure I have this pulled up here, and I think I do. All right, so this is the Bitcoin chart that we've been charting, right? And look, we're not any expert TA guys here, but we're drawing trend lines, basic things, right? And those sorts of things. Here's the thing, like in the short term, I have not moved this line. We are following it perfectly, guys. Perfectly, we're following this line, right? We're trending down, and I think we're going to trend down. We're going to hit this spot here around $90,000 and rip. That could change, right? But that's what I think is going to happen. September, and we have some things like to back it up, right? We're not just saying things because I think technical analysis is good in combination with other things going on. We know that September is historically the worst month for crypto. It's bearish, even though we have interest rates cuts to look forward to. So that's a thing that's happening, okay? So keep that in mind. We do have interest rates cut cut happening, but it could be that the prices, that the interest rate cuts are already priced in, or we may get a little bit of a rip. Like we may dip some more, like we see we're dipping here, following this trend line all the way down, and pump a little up again, or maybe pump a little more above the trend line because of the news with the Federal Reserve, right? But think about it. What did I say at the beginning? Zoom out. Look at the big picture. And when you zoom out and you look at the big picture of Bitcoin, we're trending up, guys. Oh, shit, I moved this. But we're trending up. All right, we're moving up, you know, in the grand scheme of things, right? This is September of last year. We're moving up. We just have to, sometimes we touch, you know, we pump a little bit, and we're just going to touch this and pump a little bit more. Now, it's weird with Bitcoin because it does feel like 2021 when everybody was like, it's never going to dump. It's this, we're never going to have a crypto winter again and these sorts of things. I'm not saying we're going to have a crypto winter, but we may see Bitcoin cool off while other altcoins start to catch up, or other crypto or just altcoins in general start to catch up. So, you know, we're not the smartest guys here, but we're able to see that Bitcoin is trending down. And even though I'm listening to all this news that would tell you otherwise, because I think a lot of people just say things on X just to say things because they want to keep you hyped and motivated. But it's okay to notice that, hey, we may be going down a little bit, and we may be going down to like 90K. I don't know, but this is what it looks like, right? And this is a bullish. This is a bullish pattern, right? This triangle we have here. So we'll see. And it would make sense, right? It would make sense for us to dump until near the end of September and go absolutely parabolic, or at least pump back up. But the thing is, like, we may hit an alt, because if we go back to like 90K and us ripping it back to 125, you know, that could be a double top. We could start to pull back from there, but at least we'll have some breathing room. But if you're in the game and you're trading and whatnot, at least we know, and the trades have been spot on, we've been winning, guys, then we know that at least the market's going to dump in the short term. So I haven't changed these trend lines. I won't change these trend lines, and we're going to see what they look like. Okay. But I'm going to go to Ethereum now, and I'll read some comments. I'm only on one screen today, so it's going to be hard for me. Now, we had Ethereum trending up, right? We had a symmetrical triangle, which could go either bullish or bearish. Bitcoin was dumping, Ethereum pumps. Now, we had one big piece of news where one Bitcoin whale sold a bunch of Bitcoin and bought some Ethereum. And now we're starting to see Ethereum break down from this trend line. I'm going to move it a little bit here in a second, but we are starting to see Ethereum dump down. But that's not before we got all the way back up. This is on the 25th, all the way back up. Oh, this is on the 24th, all the way back up. Oh, this is our all-time high. And then we dipped, right? And then we moved all the way back up to about above 46. And if you're watching the stream, we thought the market would go to 46.06. So we had a successful trade there. Not a lot, you know, I'm not using a bunch of money. I'm starting off slow so I can get the hang of everything, because I don't want to get wrecked. You know, I watch a lot of videos about people getting wrecked day trading and swing trading. And like, to be honest, there's so many safeguards if you're not greedy. There's so many safeguards. Like, you can put your stop losses anywhere. And sometimes you'll have a right prediction, like I did on one trade with Ethereum, where I thought that we would go to 4,600-ish. But then I put my stop loss too conservative. So it touched the stop loss, closed me out of my trade, and then ripped. You know, I forgot. Someone told me in the chat what that's called. I'm still learning, guys. But yeah, I mean, that sucks. You know, I was pretty upset about that. You know, and then we looked at Solana, right? Let's go to Sol. Solana. And the thing we had on Solana, if we go to the 4-hour chart here. Well, one second. Let me go back to Sol. Hold on. I think this one, right? Give me one. I forgot which chart I used. I didn't use the Coinbase one. Did I use the futures? Well, for Solana, we saw a I forgot what the triangle was. Flat on top and kind of curved on the bottom. And then we thought it was going to be some sort of breakout. And it did break out. It didn't break out a ton, but it did break out a little bit. And I can show you guys over on Next. Give me 1 second here. And smash the like while we're chilling. I'm still trying to memorize all the names. It's just a lot to memorize, you know. Here, let me show you guys here. Here it is. This is the video. Let me see. Flat on top. Yeah, descending triangle. So this is bullish, allegedly. So we saw a descending triangle, and the next day we did rip a little bit. Now we did pull back by the time I made this post, but we did pump a little bit. So it depends how big you're trading, how long, what's your time frame. But I know a lot of people in here are into like the, you know, they're here to scalp or whatever you're into, you know, but it is nice to be able to have some sort of predictions going on in combination with the news. So we do have quite a bit of news to get to today. So we'll get to that here in a second, but let me talk to the chat a little bit. So let me see what's going on here. Coin chick vanished. CC got rugged. No way, dude. Really? She was in my chat not too long ago, so I didn't know. I didn't know that got rugged. That sucks. All right, let me see. Let me go back to some of these. Huge expiry happening right now. Going to be some volatility. Okay, Sam. Thanks for that. Captain B&B can hear you good now. Nice. GS, good morning. Good morning. Brandon White, good morning. Good morning. Young Boss Ray says, man, I got wrecked this morning. How did you get wrecked? Should I 100x short Bitcoin since it's a piece of shit? I would short Bitcoin, but I would be conservative about it. Make sure your stop losses are in place, you know, at a good spot, whatever you think, I'd put a new Zin in, you know. But always be careful. You know, I don't want you guys to get riggedy wrecked out there. You know, it's tough. But I think Bitcoin's going to dump. I think it's going to dump to like a low 90s. And then we're going to rip at the end of September. And I think that, you know, it makes sense when you think of the news. September being historically worse for Bitcoin or bearish for Bitcoin. Peak ecstasy, it seems like with Bitcoin right now. I don't know. I think we're going to go higher than 125K. I actually don't know. I don't know that. I don't want to say that. I don't know that. But I do think we're going to get some room. We're going to get some altcoin love. You know, I think that Ethereum is definitely going to be more than 5K at some point. And I want the rest of the market to rip, like the mid-cap altcoins, and then our meme coins to rip. And I don't think meme coin season is here yet. I think we had a nice little meme coin season. Remember, Pepe hit $11 billion in January. Like, that's crazy. We had the crazy pup fun stuff going on, SPX and Pudgy Penguins and Bonk and all these meme coins doing some insane things, and they're cooling off now, but they're going to come later after the altcoins, mid-caps. They are altcoins technically and mid-caps technically, but, you know, they're going to run too. So we need that to happen. I think we don't have retail yet in crypto. You know, I was watching a bunch of economic stuff and about inflation, right? Because what is cutting interest rates and who is inflation bad for? I watched the middle class. The middle class has like shrunk from like 61% to 51% over the last 30 to 40 or 50 years, which is bad, right? What does inflation do? What inflation is in my opinion, when inflation happens, it only affects really poor people at the lower part of the socioeconomic hierarchy, you could say, because when inflation happens, your money's worthless, but assets, like if you own assets like Bitcoin or crypto or whatever stocks, they tend to rise. And usually people that are just struggling to get by to pay for grocery or just make ends meet, they're not invested, and their cash that they have it becomes more and more worthless. Even with healthy inflation, guys, it's 2% every year. That means in a perfect world, our currency is worth 2% less every year. So that's not good, right? And it's a big wealth transfer. You know, think about who's in power right now. The Trumps, they're a big rich family. They're not stupid. They're not going to be in power forever. They're here to make money. They're thinking about the situation at hand. You know, and at the end of the day, it's hard for me not to be a nihilist and think about when you think about, you know, the debts, how much debt we have, and like we're never going to pay that back. This administration has added $1 trillion to the deficit over the last 40 days. This administration, like the big beautiful bill, and that's why Elon Musk and Donald Trump had a falling out, because Elon Musk was under the impression that we'd try to get a hold in try to get a hold and pay off the deficit, and we're not. And then you could say the tariffs and these gold cards, you know, these gold cards, these Visa, you know, for immigrants, like $5 million for a gold, like that could pay off the debt. But I don't think so. I just think right now that you need to be selfish and think about yourself. That's what I think. I think in this scenario, this situation, you have to just understand that I don't know where we're going, where we're headed, but it's kind of grim, you know, and just be selfish. Think about you and your own family and stuff like that. Do what you can to build wealth for you and your family, you know? So, and, you know, one thing I watched too is like how, you know, Warren Buffett, is better than 90, his investment strategy, 90% is better than 90% of the traders out there. The guys who spend every day on Wall Street and work for these big firms, just by investing in the S&P, which is crazy. I mean, he got lucky on like Coca-Cola and stuff like that, but you know, it's like maybe slow and steady wins the race sometimes, you know. And I don't think this catastrophe is going to happen maybe in our lifetime, but you know, it's just something to think about. It's hard to not realize what's going on and just and be grim and just be like kind of cynical about it, because it's like if we're going to add $1 trillion to the deficit in the last 40 days, like that's fucking crazy, you know. And like we can't pay it back, you know. It's just crazy. I was yapping a little bit there. Let me get down to some of these comments. Damn, Rodney, I wish Kurt chose you to do business with. What happened to Kurt? Crypto to Rush says, otherwise, September is not a bad month. Just hold. Oh, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. You know, I like crypto's. First of all, he's way smarter than me. He's been in the game way longer than me. But to be honest, I think that part of his brand is being like delusionally bullish, which is good. Just and his like advice, which I think is the best advice, is just DCA all day. I think that's the best thing Cryptos R Us gives us is like just DCA all day. But I think sometimes, it's okay to be a little bearish. That's what I think. I think it's okay to be a little bearish sometimes. That's what I think, because at least what's going on. Because let me tell you something. There was a lot of people in 2021 when Bitcoin was peaking that said like BitBoy Crypto and a lot of people that I was watching and I followed, and I was following like Saitama, Shiba Inu, all these like people, influencers telling me that we're going to keep going up, and that's not what happened, And then when it started to dump, and then they're like, And what the crazy thing is, when I started to look for news outside of the crypto space, that's when I started to learn that maybe crypto people don't have your best interest in mind. And maybe I have to look towards other people that they understand crypto, but their brand isn't crypto. Like their economic, like what's his name? Clear Value, right? Clear Value, the Asian guy, right? He was like the guy who told us, yeah, we're gonna dump, we're gonna pull back. 2022 is gonna be bear, and we had some crazy things happen in crypto that dumped us down even more. But there are some people out there that say, yeah, no, this is the peak of the bull market. We're gonna dump and stuff, and everybody in crypto was like, we're gonna keep going up. Everybody's bullish, So I feel like maybe it's not on purpose, but maybe on accident they don't have our best interest in mind, So that's something to think about, Bitcoin needs to be above 118 ASAT. My long trade is down to 16K. I don't know why you're long in Bitcoin. You think we're going on a bear market? No. We're not going in a bear market. I'm not saying in a bear market. What I'm saying is that we're going to pull back a little bit. Guys, like I said in the beginning of the video, look at this. Let me see, make sure this is up. Boom. Like what I'm saying is like, if you I think that short term we're bearish, but if you zoom out, look at this. Look at the blue line. The blue line's us trending up since September of 2020. So we're trending up, obviously, since the election and whatnot. Obviously, where do we have the November 5th? Yeah, so right here, right when the election happened, because obviously Trump was bullish, massive skyrocket. Then, of course, we had like the January peak ecstasy. This is PEPE. This is when PEPE was hitting $11 billion market cap size. We had the inauguration right on the 20th, right here on the 20th. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Trump got inaugurated, and then all the way down, boom. And then we started to skyrocket again. All these dates are so easy for us to follow, right? And now we're down. We're trending down again, just like here. We're going to touch and go up a little more. Now, do I think we're going to smash through 125? Maybe. I think a lot of things need to happen. I think there's some things we need to look out for, and I think it's obviously the jobs numbers are going to be kind of wacky. The jobs numbers are weird because if you think about it, like we're deporting so many people, that would have these jobs. So maybe our expectations for jobs numbers, maybe need to fix that a little bit. That's a big deal. Like a lot of illegals are here doing jobs, and when jobs numbers come back, like even people that report, like I know people that were illegal that still worked like corporate jobs at like Target and shit, and Walmart, like and other places. Like we need to fix that a little bit, because that's going to be off. But how are inflation numbers going to work? Because we're kind of just kicking the can down the road for like short-term gratification. That's what I think. Do I think Jerome Powell's completely malicious? I don't think so. I think at the end of the day, people think it's political, and maybe it is a little political, but maybe he's just trying to get a hold on inflation because he understands how catastrophic it can be. But when he's kind of torn between two different things, jobs and PPI data, because that's what the Fed goes off of, PPI, not CPI, right? Mostly PPI, I guess. That's what I'm reading, at least. Like it was bad. Inflation came in pretty hot, but jobs reports are bad. So he thinks that maybe the PPI is the lesser of two evils right now. But what happens when we cut interest rates? Because it's inflationary when we cut interest rates. It's inflationary. Your assets inflate too, right? But your money does too. And the people that can afford to buy assets, they're kind of just left kind of stuck in the mud. So it's something. I've been really kind of locking in and stuff. And I wish I did economics in like high school or college or something. But I'm learning, YouTube University is pretty good. There's a lot of good free content out there. And it just makes you think about the big picture, and you're like, fuck, like how long is this sustainable for? Like how long can we go on just, getting this massive amount of debt? Then I think about like, damn, but and you think about like how the United States is a superpower, like it's always going to be that way. And I think it's going to be hard for the United States to get overthrown. I'm not going to go on this tangent too long, but it's super hard to like invade the United States. Like it's almost impossible to invade the United States. Like the supply chain you would need to cross these oceans, the fact that we have two countries that are like our allies, and the United States is just like, first of all, we have more guns than people here. You know, it's like it would be insane. But you think about the superpower the United States is, like, you know, it's just, I don't know. I just think about these kind of things. But you know, in the short term, it's okay to think, you know, Bitcoin's going to dump a little bit. And look, I haven't changed this trend line. I won't change this trend line just to see where we're going. We haven't broke above. We broke above a little bit, but I mean, these lines are not perfect. Broke above a little bit, but we're trending down. Like I said, it kind of matches up us to trend down towards the end of this month and go, you know, and pump a little bit for Pumptober, right? October is good. That's why I call it Pumptober, because it's good. In the grand scheme of things, guys, in the grand scheme of things, we're extremely bullish. I mean, look at this shit. This is bullish, guys. That's why if you zoom, that's why they say when in doubt, zoom out. Because if you're doubtful right now, zoom out. But if you're short term, if you're in short term, or if you're trying to long or, you know, short the market, maybe, you know, this is a good opportunity. Like right here, for example, Bitcoin hits $106,000. Like, to say you're bullish right here during the inauguration, it's like, yeah. But to be bearish in the moment was fine, because I mean, Bitcoin went all the way down to 74,000, 74. Everybody's freaking out. And then we shot up, right? And a lot of things dumped the market. Right around here was when we had like, we learned for sure that Trump was going through with the tariffs, because I think a lot of people thought that he was just running on that, just like he was running on releasing the Epstein files, and we still don't know who's in the fucking Epstein files, you know? But he's like, no, we're really going to do them. Now, there's a lot of negotiations going on with different countries and whatnot, but that's what dumped the market here. And then everybody was like, yeah, fucking Trump, fuck you. And then we started to rip again, and everybody's happy and whatnot. This is like right around the time where Eric Trump in March told us, hey, buy Ethereum. And then Ethereum dipped to $1,800, and Ethereum started to pump into $4,000. He told us to buy at $3,000, and it dipped to like $1,800. Then it went back up to $4,000, and he's like, I told you, you know? So any prediction's right, I guess, if you wait long enough, right? But yeah, I'm taking a risk here and going out on a limb to say that in the short term we're bearish, which is fine. You know, but in the grand scheme of things, we're bullish, okay? If you zoom out, we're bullish. You know, if you think about Bitcoin compared to any other asset over the last, I don't know, fucking million years, it's like the best, right? It's not even close. All right. Yes, smash the like and subscribe if you are new. GM Champ, where are you streaming from? I'm streaming from New York. Bing bong, baby. By Pepe. What's up, DJ Peasy? Dude, I support Trump, but it seems to be a lot of bullshit happening. The thing is, like, me and Jake were talking about this, because Jake is a huge Trump supporter, and he really thinks that Trump can do no wrong. But I'm not going to sit here, like, if I voted for somebody, I'm not going to sit here and like not call them out. Like, the Epstein files is a huge disappointment to me. I don't think he should be trying to fire federal judges, because doesn't he like not have the power to do that? Like, we don't need a we don't need a king, right? We need like a president, you know. But he gets things done. You know, no one's perfect. Like, none of the presidents were perfect. I mean, Bill Clinton got his dick sucked in the Oval Office. So, you know, you know, and I think it is kind of sad. Look, I'm from Southern California, right? I tend to be more conservative. I'm from a place that's highly democratic. I have more conservative values, I'd say, now, because I came from nothing pretty much. You know, and I understand how much personal accountability and responsibility is the biggest thing you can teach people, because it makes it so you realize you're not a victim and no one's coming to help you. You can help yourself. But I also understand that some people are not built like that, and I also understand, like, I grew up with a lot of people who had parents who are illegals and stuff, and you can say, oh well, they shouldn't have been here anyways, and I get that, but it's different when you're in it. You know, it's different when it's your parents or your family members getting shipped off back to Mexico. You know, and not all of them are criminals. The act of crossing here illegal is criminal. I get that, but not all of them are out here raping people and killing people and stealing and stuff like that. You know, it's not that black and white. It's definitely gray. So to see people I grew up with have their, you know, families snatched up and sent back is kind of sad for me. But I understand that it's what the country voted for. You know. So, it's a weird situation. Money needs to be extended into our military U.S. borders, north and south. Take money, brother. We had 4 years of BS. Exactly, yeah. Clary, thank you so much for reposting the stream. What's your price prediction for market cap prediction for SPX? I think SPX is definitely worth a few billion. Semmelfuss is Roddy. What's up? I heard you had a meetup with Wadi and NYC for donuts. I did not. I've been learning how to invest in deflation for my family's future. It's just hard to stay disciplined. It is hard. It is hard because life is tricky. Financial literacy is hard to teach if you can't get past the millions overnight mentality. Yeah, exactly. That's 1000% true, Kayla. Welcome to the stream. I'm holding on to the trade because my liquidation is 80K. And that's never going there. I'm going to make my money back. I promise you, Rod. And there it is, baby. That's the fucking, that's what we need. It's good to have your hodl bags, but if there is a perp on the one you're holding, but like 1 to 2% into a short, you're hedged for both sides. Exactly. You can play both sides. We have a CME gap on Bitcoin around 91. Do we, Trisha? People pass over low volume market cap tokens and miss out on big time when and cry when they buy the top. 1000%. All right, let me. Here's a reminder to hydrate. Thank you. I need to drink some water. Got a little. I literally had half a bottle of this champagne yesterday, which is small, and then a few other drinks, and I woke up with the crazy. I haven't had a drink in like 5 weeks. I woke up with the worst headache. 4 weeks. When was my birthday? My birthday was. We celebrated my birthday end of July. Yeah, so about 4 or 5 weeks. I can't do it anymore, chat. Where are you going after the stream? Try the pizza. I'm going to play some Magic the Gathering online. All my friends are at the U.S. Open today. I'm going to go shopping. I already did like an hour walk around town, explored a little bit, had some breakfast burritos. Went to CVS, got some ibuprofen because of my splitting headache. But I've been exploring a little bit. I explored a lot last night, but I'm going to chill in the hotel, take a nap. I'm old. I find joy in doing nothing sometimes. I don't know if you guys can relate, but sometimes I find joy in doing nothing. What's up, anime from Morocco? Welcome. Take a shot. Bye headache. No, I can't do it. Chat. I've been sober. I'm not doing any drugs either. So no drugs, no blow. For a little bit of alcohol. It's just, it sucks. Woke up with a headache because you need to get that Magnolia throat goat. You're right. Trump Plaza. Hey, I might check that out, Javi. I might check that out. All right, let's get into a little bit of news. See what's going on. I have some stuff saved for you guys here. Not a ton of stuff. All right, but all right, let me see if I'm sharing my tab. I think I am. What if I shared my tab and I had Pornhub open? Would you guys think of me differently? Does it really smell like pee? So far, I'm in a nice spot. I'm in the nice spot. I'm in like the Hudson Yards part of New York. So I'm in a nice spot. I'm not in the not in the hood. I did drive by Queens though. It was a long taxi ride from the airport. All right, so this is interesting. So institutional ETH purchases, a total of 247,000 ETH was added to corporate treasuries over the past week. Here's the roundup. So, that's important because we're starting to see the institutional interest in ETH, and that's why ETH is starting to rip, right? Retail is still not in crypto, guys. The average person downloading Coinbase and buying shit coins and XRP and all the hype coins, it's not here yet. So just keep that in mind. We don't have retail in here yet, and hopefully we can get it in there. But it's hard in my opinion, it's hard for retail to get into crypto when your spare extra $100 is probably going to groceries or something, or things for you to survive. US Bitcoin ETFs bought 1,600 Bitcoin yesterday versus only 450 mined. So that just goes to show how much Bitcoin's being bought compared to what's being mined, right? It's a supply and demand issue, and that's why I always tell you guys: if you can get your hand on any sort of Bitcoin, get your hand on some Bitcoin. Right. This is interesting too, because the talking point for crypto has always been like, oh, it's a place for people to launder money and those by Elizabeth Warren. But this is from Digital Asset News. Love Digital Asset News. Says, GM, if only we had an open and secure ledger where we could track this type of illicit behavior. You're doing a great job, Warren, by putting the spotlight on crypto as a major driver of funding cartels and terrorists. Banks are awesome. Everybody knows it. This is sarcasm. And this was the post from Wall Street Journal. Chinese money launderers are moving billions through U.S. banks. So, when people always shit on crypto and say like, oh, it's for criminals, it's like, how did anybody ever do anything illegal before? Now, obviously with cybercrime and those sorts of things, especially with North Korea, their main thing is crypto, but like, it's not new, We did get an update 13 hours ago that there's an 86.2% chance of rate cuts happening in September. And I think we're going to get them because when we listened to, Jerome Powell speak at Jackson Hole, he did seem dovish, or at least open to the fact of cutting interest rates because we have two evils, jobs and inflation. And he thinks that the jobs, He thinks that inflation is the lesser of two evils, right? This is interesting. What do you guys think about this? So it's not a, this is from Discover Crypto. Shout out to Discover Crypto. It says, it's not a wage gap, it's a responsibility gap. Married men out-earn everyone. How many of those married men bang other chicks? That's what I want to know. But that's interesting, right? That's an interesting question. So married men are interesting fact. Married men out-earn everyone. And we see the peak right there, like 90K a year. Dude, you can't do shit with 90K a year now. I'm telling you that. It is tough. It is tough out there, guys. And if you guys could repost the stream, like the stream, give your boy a subscription if you're watching over on YouTube. We stream every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes on the weekends. I'm out of town right now. Give you guys cryptocurrency news, give you guys my predictions and whatnot. And so far, they've been doing pretty good, even if you may not like to hear it. And if you're watching over on X, what you could do is just repost the stream. That literally helps more than anything. Just reposting and sharing with your friends. And if you want to send this to somebody on YouTube, go ahead, but I'm not sure if they're going to like it. Proof you need a woman who can support you. To be honest, when you have a good woman in your life and you're not chasing ass every weekend, that does help. That does help you save money. Depends, though. It depends. Summo Fuzz says it's 3 types of investors that lose: the ones with no brain, Scarecrow, and the ones with no heart, Tin Man, and the one with no courage, Lion. Summo Fuzz and Unk when he's bringing up Wizard of Oz analogies, but you're right. SPX to 100 billion this cycle. I wouldn't put it past SPX to do that. I wouldn't put it past SPX to do that. All right, what else we got going on? So guys, if you're not married, get married. Until you get divorced, then you lose all your money. JP Morgan says Bitcoin is undervalued. Yeah, and this is a post that says, well, the tables have turned. You guys can get the Tron network on Robinhood. So Tron on Robinhood, that's nice. The U.S. Department of Commerce says we are cementing our role as the blockchain capital of the world. So it's only fitting that the Commerce Department and President Donald Trump, the crypto president, publicly release economic statistical data on the blockchain. Pretty sweet. We are making America's economic truth immutable and globally accessible like never before, cementing our role as a blockchain capital of the world. And everybody has to admit that 3.3% GDP growth is impressive. So that's pretty cool, right? So what's the benefit of using the blockchain? And this is great because this is someone viewing crypto as like not price go up and a store of value, or it's now a utility, right? And that's why I've always said like the blockchain for like, think about like how many people get scammed on like I used to like go to like a lot of festivals and shows. I can't tell you, like 10 times I bought like a fake ticket. Like someone's just fake. It's just a fake ticket. Someone's selling a fake ticket. But if that ticket was an NFT, it'd be impossible to fake because the blockchain is immutable. You can't change it. If your deed to your house was on the blockchain, it was an NFT form, right? I'm not talking about a fucking monkey picture. I'm talking about something that's tokenized, right? You cannot change it. It's immutable. A certain series of letters and numbers that cannot be changed. And it's always there. I was thinking about Memecoins is that you can create one and it'll never go away. It'll always be there, right? That's pretty cool, right? So tokenizing everything. This is from a couple days ago, actually yesterday, I believe. Yeah, yesterday. So BlackRock is buying. BlackRock bought $262 million worth of ETH. So we saw outflows of Bitcoin and we saw inflows of ETH. What else do we have? This is Jack Mahler's been super bullish. He's a billionaire, super bullish. 21 Capital CEO and co-founder says that Bitcoin is a $500 trillion asset in the making, which is nice, right? What else do we have? Now, Zach XBT going in on XRP holders. Check this out. He says, Ripple holders provide nothing of value to the industry except extra liquidity for insiders, thus are not worth supporting. Likewise with Cardano, Pulsechain, Hedera, etc. Dude, that's crazy. Zach XBT crashing out. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about Zach XBT crashing out on XRP holders? That's kind of crazy to me. He's on a sick one. Do you think we're gonna? So Michi says, do you think we're gonna have a base season? Yeah. So I think we're gonna have a base season. I'm in a weird spot when it comes to centralized exchanges because I don't think that centralized exchanges and exchange listings really mean as much as they used to mean. Really, they used to mean so much because it was so hard to get listed on centralized exchanges. But after Trump became president, decentralized exchanges started listing everything. And Coinbase started really listing base coins. I mean, everything except Brett. But the cool thing about Coinbase is that you're going to be able to buy any base memes within the centralized exchange using a decentralized exchange. And I think that's Aerodrome. That's what people are telling me. I haven't checked it out myself, but they're saying it's Aerodrome. So every base meme is automatically going to be on Coinbase, which the good thing about centralized exchanges is that, look, it's not, if you want to buy a meme coin, you don't have to wait for it to get listed on a centralized exchange. You can use any decentralized exchange. It's not some new tech. But there's the fact is, a lot of people are going to download Coinbase and never, ever try to use it as centralized exchange because they don't want to. They don't care to. There's no safeguards. But if you can buy it in Coinbase, well, then it's going to be available for everybody. But, you know. Well, so being married is good for your wallet? I guess it can be until you get divorced and fucked in court. Then it's not. I have 128 years of marriage, still strong. And that's awesome, Javi. You know, the statistics aren't in our favor. But you know what? It's probably because you're a good man, Javi, and you take care of business, you know? And you fucking hold. You know, you have conviction, you know? Like, Javi's been in the game forever. Yeah, it's tough. The statistics out there, it's like more than 50% of the marriages, people get divorced. Women initiate like 70%, and the breadwinner, which is usually the guys, you get hit with a lot of alimony. Like, there's a lot of like NFL stars, like, for example, Tyreek Hill recently. I think they were married for like 17 months, and like he has to pay her like $50K in child support every month or something crazy. Like, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy. It is rare, yeah. 21 shares file an ETF for SEI. Not sure if you saw that. I didn't see that, but yeah, I think a lot of ETFs are going to get approved. So we'll see. We'll still wait for an XRP one. I think it'll start with that. You know, the thing about altcoins and ETFs and stuff like that is that the SEC has to approve them, and obviously the SEC was in different hands last time. So I think we're going to get a lot of crypto ETFs. You know, and especially any ones that the Trumps are talking about, they're going to happen. Tokenizing on base is next level with Zora. What do you think about that move? I think Zora is great. A lot of people knock Coinbase and Zora. They think they're just pumping out shit coins all day, every day, but whatever, dude. He has a point because it's well known that XRP devs do dump their coin at highs. Dude, they've made hundreds of millions. XRP devs have made hundreds of millions of dollars dumping that shit. Yeah. I can't blame them for taking profits, though. But yeah, they most likely dumped on normies buying at $3. Yeah, do 100%. Now, there's two ways you can look at that. Are these devs dumping to pay for the project? Because you have to pay for things to get things done, to get licensed, and different projects and stuff like that. Like, you have to take the money from somewhere. But I feel bad for XRP because it just had an all-time high recently, but before that, it was since 2018. Like, they've been stuck in the mud. They have such a strong community. And I think the biggest issue with XRP is that the expectations are way too high. And the blame, I think, is just people making content. People make the most ridiculous fucking content about XRP, like crazy stuff. Like $50,000 per token. And then when you argue about market cap size, they like knock you. Like, oh, but market cap size. It's like, well, that matters because you understand what's realistic. Like, if the market cap of XRP magically warped to the market cap of Bitcoin today, which is about $2.5 trillion, by the way, it'd be about $33. That's far off from $50,000 per XRP. And you can say with the burning and the deflationary, yeah, but if it's used on a massive level, and if it's going to be used on a massive level, you're thinking it's going to be used like with Swift. And if it's going to be used to Swift or replace Swift, there are 200 countries and territories that are not fucking XRP maxis. They probably don't even know what the fuck it is. Are going to be like, oh, we have to, Swift handles a lot of money every day. And if XRP were to replace that, well, then yeah, it could do some crazy numbers like that. But I think you have to understand, like, we're in our own bubble. Crypto is still becoming, no one's seeing crypto as a real utility yet. The thing that people are looking at crypto is, one, Bitcoin. Institutions are looking at Bitcoin as a store of value to go up over time so they can make fucking money. They're about making money. And two, they're looking at stable coins as a better form of payments, which it is. It's superior, right? But they're not looking at like XRP to be the new money. Not yet, at least. We're not there yet. So, when you see these people making content saying XRP to $50,000 per token, and people buy that shit, like, they don't even know what the fuck's going on half the time. They just make that shit because people watch it, because it's hopium, but once you understand market cap sizes, you understand what things are capable of in the short term, at least. I think one of the biggest things I learned in meme coins, because in meme coins, how do they trick you? They trick you with high supply, and high supply makes it so you can spend $20 on a meme coin and have $1 billion worth of that meme, or 1 billion different tokens. Like, if you have 1 billion tokens for $20, you're like, damn, if this thing ever goes to $1, like Shiba Inu to $1 or PEPE to $1, I'm gonna have $1 billion. And like, but if you understand that the market cap size is what they're capable of, and you think like, oh, The biggest meme coin of all time, Dogecoin, only hidden, it's 80 billion is a lot, but 80 billion, the biggest, and that's a coin, right? The biggest meme token, Shiba Inu, only hit a $40 billion market cap size, which is way off from $1, you know? So if you just understand market cap size, it helps you make sense of things. But people don't, they make just content, just tell you anything. And people believe that shit because they're just uneducated. But the thing is, I'm not knocking you. It's like I was the same way too. But once you just understand market cap sizes and shit and understand that, hey, if I talk about XRP going to $50,000 every fucking video, people are going to watch my shit, subscribe, and follow me. That's what they're going to do, you know? It's fine. It's kind of lame, but that's just part of the game. Me just said you're 100%, 80% of my friends are divorced. Yes, I already got one under my belt. Hopefully that's it. J. Roy Crypto says, got to dial the fucking, we got to dial it in. People talk about XRP flipping Bitcoin, etc. It's insane how they are. It makes me laugh. The thing about XRP is like, it could, look at, I think of crypto like as the early internet days. And just because Bitcoin and Ethereum are number 1 and 2 right now, doesn't mean they're going to be like that forever. Think about the early internet days. How many websites, like social media websites, like MySpace? I bet people never thought Facebook would be, I bet people thought MySpace would be here forever. But as time goes on, maybe Bitcoin isn't the biggest market cap of crypto market cap, you know? Or maybe it is. Who knows? Who knows how things are going to look in 10, 20 years from now? Yeah, we just don't know. You know, if institutions start using ETH to tokenize everything, well, then shit, maybe ETH will flip Bitcoin. You know, who knows? I can't do TA on small cap meme coins. It doesn't work. How can a project be deflationary and offer an APY and staking? Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, things can be deflationary because I think, so especially with meme coins, the way they say they're deflationary is that every transaction, like there's some sort of burning mechanism and it goes to like a burning wallet, right? Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, like, a lot of times, like the burns are not, it's like with Saitama, like 2% is burned in every buy. It's like, it's just not powerful enough to see any sort of like increase. In my opinion, it just doesn't make any sense. Like even at the peak of Saitama, and you have to have volume, like massive volume, people buying and selling, like you're only getting a couple bucks. You know, and that can add up, but like if it's what happens when the volume goes to shit, well, then you get no APY, you know? And then what happens if the token takes a shit? Well, then you can be earning 1 billion % APY, but if the token is going from $10 to, you know, 1/10 of a penny, then you're fucked, you know? You see how Trump ended security for Harrison? I did not see. Let's see what really, let's see her really stand on her own with her own words. With who? Russell from Saitama fooled everyone. He was a great bullshitter for sure. Great bullshitter. All right, what else have we got? See, we got some more news for you guys. So Zach dunking on XRP people, which I thought was hilarious. We got the Fed interest rate cut updates. So Nvidia stock falls 5%. So this happened on the 27th, even though the stock market did hit an all-time high recently, guys. So Nvidia stock falls over 5% after reporting quarterly revenue of $46 billion. They beat their revenue and expectations, but the stock is down, which is interesting. Oh, check this out. So this is an update from the Kanye West token. So they're worse than we thought. So there have been 70,000+ total traders in the Kanye West token. 51,000 lost $1,000, 1 to $1,000. 5,000 lost, 1 to $10,000. 1,000 people lost, $10,000 to $100,000. 108 people lost, $100,000 to 1 million, and 3 people lost 1 million plus. Meanwhile, 11 wallets made 1 million plus. Let me tell you something. All those are insiders. Isn't that crazy? Big Sean told everybody to invest in crypto, which I like. And then we saw this the other day. So 1 out of 4 British adults are open to adding crypto to their retirement funds, which is big because if you think about it, like, you know, the USA is going to start, you know, offering people crypto for 401k and those sorts of things. Moon on Base is rate cuts about time. I agree. I got you, bro. Yeah, small caps are different for sure. Hopefully PEP claims 10 mil soon. Then we could do a bit of TA. I wouldn't do TA on any meme coins. Like even PEPE is kind of weird. The reason why I wouldn't, and we saw this like a big example with Bitcoin, even though Bitcoin recovered fine, is that one person that holds a lot of the supply, which a lot of these things are bundled, which I'm not knocking, because just because something's bundled doesn't mean it's going to rug. But just, you know, one person could really dump the chart. You can do all the TA you want, and they can dump the chart. You know, that's a beautiful thing and the curse of meme coins, because the rest of the market could be taking a shit, and then we could have a meme coin fucking 100x out of nowhere. You know, but you can't do TA on small cap meme coins. You just can't. You can. It's just stupid though. You look retarded. You know, people have. It's just dumb. I'm no TA expert, but I'm not stupid, and I know that if 80% of the supply is held by like 10 people, and I'm doing technical analysis on something, predicting where it's going to go based on the market, it's like, yeah, one of those people could just sell. Like we saw that with PEPE back in 2023, at near the end of 2023, or right out a couple months after it launched. Like it hit $1.6 billion. It went down to like 400 mil, and then one person dumped a bunch, cashed out with 18 mil, and then dumped it like $100 million in market cap size, because, you know, it's pulling from liquidity, you know. And another thing, guys, that I'm sure a lot of you guys know, but you have to think about like liquidity and market cap size. Like liquidity is like the available amount of money that a project has, but market cap size is something different, right? I'll use PEPE for example, and obviously liquidity is spread out through many different things, right? It's many different things. Let me show you guys something real quick, just so you guys know. And you know, it's always important to look at these sorts of things when you're buying a meme coin. Let me check one out here. We'll go to Dex Tools. Let me show you guys something here. It's important to understand this. So if you guys are buying meme coins, let me put you up on game here, right? All right, so let me share my screen here. And I've shared this before, and a lot of you guys know this, but for you guys that are new watching, this is important information for you guys. I'll show you guys this right here. Check this out. So this is PEPE, right? Make sure it's sharing. Okay, this is PEPE, right? The meme coin. All right, this is the 15-minute chart, whatever, ignore that. If you go to the left here and you see this on Dex screen or anywhere pretty much, you can see the market cap, which is $4 billion, but you can see the liquidity is 57 million, which is less than 1%. So technically, only $57 million really are in this project, but the market cap is at $4 billion. Doesn't mean it's worth $4 billion, right? Keep that in mind. Now, with meme coins like PEPE, liquidity is spread across different exchanges and shit like that. But if it's a brand new meme coin, there's no liquidity spread. It's just right here, unless they're in other networks and other pairs, and there's a bunch of different things, right? This is PEPE and ETH pair. There's different pairs, right? But pretty much this is how much liquidity is in a project. Now, if I go to wallets, right? If I go to Etherscan and I go to PEPE, right? And I go to holders, you can see all the different exchanges, how much they hold. Binance holds 11% plus another 5% down here. Binance Hot Wallet 20, Binance Hot Wallet 28 probably. Robinhood holds 4%. This wallet, which is just a wallet, holds 3%. I don't know who that is. Okay, so remember, we saw that the PEPE, oh wait, you can't see it on my screen. Hold on, let me share this. Okay, now we hear. This is Etherscan, right? So you can see it. Let me make sure you guys can see it. Okay, cool, you can see it. All right. Okay, so this first wallet's Binance Hot Wallet. It holds 11% of the supply. This is both Binance. So altogether, they hold about 16%. This holds 5%. Robinhood holds 4%. This Bybit, well, these are exchanges, 3%. This wallet right here, which is just a person, holds 3%. Now, remember, I said the PEPE has 57, it has a $4 billion market cap size, but it has $57 million worth of liquidity. This wallet holds 3%, which is $134 million. This person technically, yes, has $134 million worth of PEPE, but they can't sell it all at once. They have to slowly sell over time, preferably in the volume, right? If they try to sell it all at once, they'll probably get like a couple million or a few million, maybe like 5 or 6, right? Something like that. They won't get 134. That's like price impact, right? So that's why people will slowly sell out of something. That's why people will sell slowly over time. Because when you own a large amount of a meme coin, you can't just sell it all, like, because there's no liquidity for it. So market cap and liquidity is just different, right? And that's why you see people slow like small transactions, and that's the way you want to do it, right? If you hold a large amount of supply of something, you can't dump all at once. You're never gonna get all your shit. But if you sell into volume, especially like in a bull market, you're gonna get a lot of money, maybe even more sometimes, right? If you sell slowly over time. So that's really important, and that's something to recognize. What's up, G Vibes? How we doing? Yes, I'm back, baby. I'm back. This is why trading works the best on Forex out of any market, because there are the most liquid markets in the world. Exactly. Different markets. Meme coins ain't liquid, baby. It's important to know that, because you'll buy a meme coin and you'll have like 10K in it. You're like, damn, I'm gonna fuck 10K. I'm gonna cash out. And then you'll go to swap it all, and then it'll say like a price impact, and it'll tell you that you're probably getting $1,000, and you'll be like, what the fuck? And then you realize that you need to sell like $200 at a time or $500 at a time, and then you can get all your money. But you have to sell like into volume, right? Pull up my stats, market cap to liquidity ratio. What's BRB, BIRB? I can pull that up for you. Yeah, so with meme coins, like, look, I don't know what the right thing is, but what I like to say and obviously as the market cap gets higher, this is Burb right here. This is not me shilling it. So Burb has a market cap of 335 mil and a liquidity of 194. So this is like more than half of the project is liquid, right? Their volume is $5, which means no one's trading this shit. Shout out to Burb. Get a volume bot to fake your volume, because that's what people do anyways, right? Well, I'm not telling you to do that, but that's what people do. So it looks like people are actually interested in your token, but more than half of their meme coin is liquid. So that's good. That means if you hold a large amount of this, you could probably cash out a lot. And you don't see this a lot. I will see meme coins launch, hit like $1 million and have like 5K in liquidity. Like, you'll see that shit all the time. And the lower your liquidity, the more positive price actions you get from like large buys or even any buys. So. Oh, wait, I'm not even sharing. I'm not sharing. Let me share. My bad. Okay, this is Burb. My bad. Sorry, I have one screen today, guys. I'm kind of clerk. So this is Burb. They're at $335 million market cap size. They have 194K liquidity. That means like more than half of their tokens liquid, which is nice, because if you want to pull out, you probably could. All of it. But we never pull out here. Pulling out for quitters. Just kidding. Only $5 worth of volume, though. So get a volume bot. Because that means over the last 24 hours, you had $5 worth of trades, which probably means if we go to the crypto. Can we go to the crypto bubbles in this thing? You don't have the crypto bubbles in this thing. But if we go to like your base scan, and I'll go ahead and share it, and you go to holders, we can see that this is a contract address. So this is your liquidity, right? 163. So it's not bad. And if you look at some of the wallets, it's kind of like for a small cap meme coin, it's actually had good distribution. So shout out to Burb. Great, Burb. Good for you guys. You get a liquidity here. Yeah, nice. So good. Burb looking good. But could use some volume. No need to. Yeah, exactly, Jay. Right. No, 10% is all you really need, especially when things start to rip. I don't want to set up bots while holders are staking. I get that. But volume. So volume, when people are looking to buy into something, like they want things with volume. That's the first thing traders look for, and volume. And obviously, you can do people to make videos, stuff like that. But how can one think about managing risk on small caps without overcomplicating it? The thing about small caps is just understand that you're going to lose unless you have an insider advantage. Unless you're a partisan Telegram with like 20,000 people, then you're usually not going to win, and you need to be first. So that's important. And shout out to Bomo. Bomo, we actually have a video coming out for you guys today at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is really a pretty good meme coin on base. So 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I got a video for Bomo. #ad, #sponsored, coming out at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to the Bomo on base community, baby. A degenerate monkey on base. What's up, Dino Crypto? How we doing? Yes, I still make meme coin videos. Shout out to the Bomo community. You guys are goated. You're welcome, Burb. Yeah, if you guys want the rundown of Bomo, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're making a video. What's up, Michi? Dano Crypto, how we doing? But yeah, so if you don't want to overcomplicate it, just understand the basic things about meme coins. Understand that you can have every advantage ever, and all it takes is one person to rug you. Look at the supply distribution, look at the bubble maps, and those sorts of things. Like it's important to look at all those things, and even then, you're gonna get wrecked. When do you think meme season starts? Were you? Yeah, I was. Yes, 2021 is when I entered the crypto market. So I'm fairly new, but I've been making content like every day for the last 4 years, so I really understand crypto. I've been in the fucking trenches, but obviously went to one of the worst bear markets in history and all the catastrophes. But I think that the cool thing about memes is I think that memes are going to start ripping like crazy, like right around the peak, and then continue even into like the bear. Because that's the cool thing about memes is that they have a life of their own, even when the rest of the market's taking a shit. So. What's your thoughts on price-wise on Pepe and SHIB? I do think that Shiba Inu will definitely get flipped by Pepe. I think so. I think they're definitely going to move with the market. They're dipping right now. They're moving with the market. I'm not going to go about price prediction, but with market cap sizes, we saw PEPE hit $40 billion last cycle. I mean, Shiba Inu hit $40 billion last cycle. PEPE hit $11 billion all-time high. I think that they're definitely going to move with the market and do some insane things. I think that if you're buying meme coins, you got to stick with the top ones long term. If you're going to be in the trenches all day using some sort of sniping bot or some sort of a platform like Photon or BullX or whatever, you need to make sure that you're in the trenches. The thing about meme coins is like you can buy a meme coin, you can take a shit, and you can come back. And during that 10-minute period or however long it takes you to take a shit, it could have 100x and then rugged by the time. That's how crazy meme coins are. And not a lot of people have the luxury to be on the charts all day. You have to work, you have to do things, you have kids, and so you can't be on the trend. And there are some different there's different tools where you can use to sell when things hit certain prices, but you need to be in the community, you need to be seeing what the dev is doing and all those sorts of things. But yeah, bro, you was with us every day, then you disappeared on us. Why nobody talking about XRP meme coins? I've been on X the whole time though. The thing about like on YouTube, I did disappear on YouTube, but I've been on X. Like on my X, I've posted every day on my X like for the last 3 years. So X is I've been consistent. We did meme coin spaces and stuff, but I didn't stream for a while. No, but I'm back to streaming. So we're trying to get our viewers back up. So we're doing better. I mean, I think we're like 10 people in here. So we have like 49 people in here is good right now. I think we peaked at like 60, which is good. X has been good for views. On X, we have already almost 1,000 views. YouTube is lagging behind, but the thing is like I've been gone, so I have to build it back. I understand it takes some time to build it back up, so my eyes look glossy. I'm in New York. I had a rough night and I'm still streaming. So we're still here. The only reason why I couldn't stream yesterday is because my flight was at 11 when we streamed. So XRP meme coins, and I'm sure there's a community for it, but I don't talk about them. But now, what is your thoughts on someone who holds 10,000 coins except for Quant? Is this a good portfolio? 10,000 coins? I say the smaller your okay, if I had $10,000 to invest right now, or you can size it down to whatever, $100, whatever. You do the math, 10%, or wouldn't be 10%, but do the math, whatever. I would automatically half of that would go to if I'm thinking long term, half would go in Bitcoin right away, or at least $250. We'll do $1,000, $250 in Bitcoin, $250 in ETH. $250 in some top alts and meme coins, and then I'd gamble the rest on some shit coins. Yeah, 10,000 is a lot of memes. Yeah, I can't keep it. I think that the rub is to look at whatever you're invested in, put it on a watch list on like CoinMarketCap or on. Thank you so much. Thanks for the reminder to hydrate, Burb. The point is like if you whatever you're into, just keep it on a watch list every day. Like so every platform has their own watch list. If it's listed on CoinMarketCap, so you can see what's going on. But 10,000 is too much. I would just do like 20 tops. And meme coins, if they're not big ones, you shouldn't be holding them too long anyways. I mean, you can, but you need a good community. You need good devs. It's just hard. Dude, being a meme coin dev, if you care for an extended amount of time, it's hard, bro. Lofi, for example. Lofi's like 20 million and they, their price is down, but their dev is the hardest working man I know. And he cares about the project and it's tough, it's tough. I tried to do my own project, which is a mistake, and I wasted $300,000. I put a bunch of liquidity in my project, and it kills your spirit, man. It's just too much money. It's too much money and time. Yeah, I'm in NYC. Hey, I'm in your city. Hey, let's go. I'm going to just watch some tennis. But guys, that's it. I'm out of here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, guys. I need to take a nap because I'm fucking tired as hell. Smash the like button on the way out. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. We may have a stream one of these days in the weekday, but I'm going to try to stream Monday. It may be a little earlier because I need to get late checkout, but I'll be going to the airport, okay? I'll be gone. So we might not have a stream Monday, but I'll make the stream Tuesday extra special. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I do appreciate you guys. Fantastic viewership on YouTube and X. Let's keep growing. You guys enjoy the rest of your stream. The rest of your weekend. Have a good one. Go out, touch some grass, touch some ass, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.